Hello, everyone. I hope you are able to listen me. Can somebody
Uh,
write in the chat that they can listen me?
yeah, we can hear
Yes, sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
Excellent,
Hello,
excellent.
hello.
Okay, cool.
Uh,
Let me.
uh,
So, should I start,
uh,
Sada?
yeah, actually, I'm just waiting for our principal sir to join.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. Let's wait for a couple of minutes.
yeah. So till then, I welcome all the participants, my dear colleagues and students. I, Dr. Sadafara Pillai from School of Sciences, PP Savani University, welcome you all to the international webinar on career opportunities in chemistry. Let us welcome our speaker, Dr. Jitendra Mata, who is an instrument scientist co-responsible for the COCA SANS instruments and Kokabura ultrasons instrument at ACNS, which was formerly called Bragg Institute. Doctor Mata's research concerns complex soft materials and has had industrial relevance since his PhD, being sponsored by well-known organizations such as Ansto Minerals, SC Johnson's, USA, Orica Limited Australia, several dairy and food industries in Australia and overseas, as well as University Grants Commission of India. He is an experienced research manager and scientific supervisor who has many years of experience, university teaching experience in chemistry. Above all, he has also received prestigious postdoctoral fellowships such as ANSTO CSIRO Food Future Fellowship, Australian National University Fellowship, Australia, Dr. Shantinath Ghosh Memorial Young Scientist Award, and above all, he is also a editorial board member of Helium Journal. So, without taking much time, now let us welcome him and ask and request him to start today's webinar. I request all the participants to keep their mics turned off during the webinar, and your attendance will be based on your feedback. So, I request all the participants to do submit their feedback before they leave. Uh, Now, up to you, Dr. Mata.
Thank you. Thanks, Sadaf. First of all, it's very fortunate and unfortunate situation that I'm giving this seminar through online medium. I always prefer one face-to-face seminar, but this is going to be the way of life for a very long time now, which is good because we can also communicate with a larger audience. So that's very good. Um, what I want to do today is I want to take you some of the journey I have been, and maybe that might inspire you or maybe give you some answer. Okay. You can always reach me on my this email address. You can also Google me. You can also find me on LinkedIn or Twitter. If you have any question, feel free to send me an email or feel free to find me on one of this medium. If I can't find your answer, I will try to find someone who can. So please do write me there. As you can see, I work at ANSTO. So what is ANSTO? So ANSTO is a nuclear science and technology organization, and I'm a senior instrument scientist at Australian Center for Neutron Scattering. And as Sadaf mentioned, it's long time ago it used to known as a Bragg Institute. In layman term, you can call me a nuclear scientist, but I started from Surat. Okay, so today that's my job is to go through and explain you what I've done. Okay, this will be the outline of my talk. And let me be very clear: I am not a professional career coach or counselor. I'm here because Sadaf invited me to share my journey, and why I want to do that because if I show you where I work, what I do, what is my job, it might help you to understand my journey, and may it may inspire you to go on your own journey. Also, ANSTO is the Australian Nuclear Science and Technology Organization. It's such a wonderful government organization. And when you will see what we do at ANSTO, you might find that um, some of the area is within the reach. Once you finish your chemistry or whatever science you are doing, I was told that this uh, talk will be presented to BSc chemistry student, but also to several schools and so on. So, and it will be recorded as well. So I'm targeting for a general audience. If you are from science, good. If you are not from science, that is the point. You know, I just want to show you what are my career journey. Okay. And also at the end of the talk, I want to give you some guideline on the science career. You know what career you can choose. In today's time, science is very fluid. Career in science is very fluid. It's a quite quite mixed field. So it might help you to see, you know, what kind of careers out there. Also, I'll talk about some general fields. You know, as I said, I'm not a career counselor, so I can't tell you, you know, what is popular in India at this moment or so on. What I'm going to do, I work with so many wonderful people, and I worked with many of my friends working in a different field who were originally from the science background, and I met them along the journey. So definitely, when I'm talking about this field, it might help you as well. Uh, can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, sorry, because this Google keep telling me I'm not no longer presenting. But anyway, that's good. So, and at the end of the talk, I will also give you the key of success. You know, that is the only key you need to be a successful. Um, Again, before I go ahead, I want to show you that what is ANSTO. So I'm going to play a small clip, and that shows my workplace, and also many of my colleagues are featured there, including me. So this is the ANSTO.
All the participants are requested to keep their mic off. All the participants are requested to turn their mic off.
Okay, good. So basically, ANSTO, as I mentioned, ANSTO is the Australian Nuclear Science and Technology Organization. It's in Australia. So this is the Australia. Here is the Sydney, and I work in the main campus, which is called Lucas Heights campus, which is here. You might know that Australia is almost two and a half size of the India, the whole country, but the population is not even like Mumbai or greater, including Greater Mumbai. So it's a very big country land-wise, but very small population. Okay, and here in the picture you can see how much bushland we have. In Sydney, we have a two office. One is in Lucas Heights and one is in Clytron. There is another
Hello,
office
sir. 1 minute.
here in Melbourne.
Sir, we can see. We cannot see to your
Can you
PPT,
hear
sir.
me?
Please turn your mic off. You will have to pin Dr. Mata's presentation window. I have mentioned that in message. Please pin
Okay,
his
ma'am.
presentation window and turn your mic
Okay,
off.
okay, ma'am.
So, so anyway, yeah, just play with the Google Meet. I'm sure you will figure it out. So what we have, so this is the Australia, Sydney have a two place where we have ANSTO, and also there is a one in Melbourne, which called Australian Synchrotron. It's also part of ANSTO. So what is ANSTO? So ANSTO is a government research organization. It's funded publicly, and it's operating from last 60 years. It has more than $1 billion of assets, and you will see some of the instrument we have. It's amazing instrument, and we have more than 1,200 employees, even bigger than 1,200 employees now. So that's ANSTO, and this is the Lucas Height campus. As I was mentioning, you can see how much bushland we have. It's really nice walking track along it. And this is the big site with various departments. So if you, we started 60 years ago. So this was our first nuclear reactor, small nuclear reactor. This is our second nuclear reactor. They both are not in operation anymore. We have the Opal reactor. This is our new reactor. It's built in 2006, and I worked just there. So Opal is a very small reactor, and the whole purpose of this reactor is research. So if you, how far this campus is. So Sydney main city is here, just 30 kilometers this way. In Australia, everything in hundreds of kilometers, you know, so 30 kilometers is nothing. And Melbourne is 800 kilometers this way. And my home actually is only 15 kilometers this way. So the new reactor which we have right now is called Opal reactor. It's an open pool reactor. So you can see from top what happening inside, and it's a 20 megawatt reactor. So in terms of power, it's a very, very small reactor. It can't produce electricity. It can't even produce its own electricity. So the whole purpose of this reactor is a research and research only. So I'm going to show you what research we do. So if you know nuclear reactor, we in India also, we have one nuclear reactor at Bhabha Atomic Research Center. And when I was doing my PhD, I used to go there for experiments, and there where I actually learned about nuclear technology. So here, the whole purpose of this nuclear reactor is to produce the neutrons. And we believe our neutrons are like a super particles, because you can use this neutron for lots and lots of different applications. And I'm going to show you here what we do at ANSTO using this neutron. Okay. So first of all, let me explain you about the atom. We talk about atoms, subatomic particles, and so on, but sometimes it's very hard to understand the size, what we are talking about. Okay? I think somebody's mic is on. If you could turn it off, that would be great, because I can hear the statement. I think Sadaf, you can turn off anyone's mic. You have that superpower. So let me talk about this atoms and subatomic particles. So in normal atom is like 0.1 nanometer or 1 angstrom. It's very, very small. Okay. Compared to atom, there is guys, could you please turn off your microphone? So there is a electron clouds in the atom, and in the center there is a nucleus. Okay, so nucleus is very, very small, 100,000 part of whole atom. So compared to atom, nucleus is very, very small, and nucleus is made of neutrons and protons. So we use neutrons which make the nucleus. Now, if you want a size information, here is the human hair. So this one hair is 1,000 nanometer. Atom is just 0.1 nanometer. And nucleus is even 0.000001 nanometer. So we are talking very, very small things. Okay. So in atom, you can see, in atom, we can see that there is only nucleus here and electron cloud here. Okay. So if you see this, I'll just give you the example. If you see any hard material around your desk, you will see the hard material is basically empty. So if you imagine this this stadium, and if this stadium is your atom, then in the center of that stadium, if you see a small stone, very, very small stone, like a 1 rupee stone, that is your nucleus, and that nucleus actually have the neutrons. So now let me go back to our nuclear reactor. So this is the reactor we have, and it produced the neutron. Now you can see here, this is the core, and there is where we have uranium, and uranium do the fission reaction. And again, I want to stress about this, why I'm talking about all those things, because it's very important. Everything you see here has a chemistry in it. So if anything inspires you, you can actually go and make your career in that field. Okay, every single thing on this screen actually needed chemistry, and I'm going to show you some of them. So here is the nucleus core. So if you want to become a nuclear chemist, you have to understand what uranium and what are the nuclear active materials are. So here is the small core, and small core, there is a fission reaction, and it produces the radiation. And this radiation, so you see this blue color, it's called Cherenkov radiation. Now, if I go, what is the fission reaction? So you have a neutron. This neutron bombard on the nucleus, and the nucleus divide into two and produce more neutron. That's why we call our nuclear reactor a neutron factory. So basically what you have, we produce lots and lots of neutron. And why do we make neutron? Because when you make neutron, you can use them to generate power. You can use them to produce a radiopharmaceuticals. So medicine, basically, it can help to treat cancer, or it can help to detect the cancer. Again, see, I'm showing you this because you can become a nuclear radiopharmaceuticals, okay, after chemistry. And you can also use radiation to irradiate the silicon. So the mobile screen you are using right now, or the computer screen or computer processor you are using right now, there is a high chance that the chip which used in that mobile phone is made, the silicon, the material is made at ANSTO, because we produce a lot of material for the microprocessors. Now we don't produce power, so that is out of the picture. We also use neutron to understand the nano and microstructure. We do the structural characterization, and there where I come. Here is my colleague and friend Vanessa. She is also a scientist similar to me. So what we do, we have this nuclear reactor, and then there is a medical irradiation facility around it. So if you want to produce a medicine, you have to put material there. And then you have this place where you can do silicon irradiation. Okay. Apart from that, we also have these pipes. We call them guides. So the guides are used to transport any neutron which are not used, lot of them. So what we do, imagine these are the neutrons. Neutrons are subatomic particles. They are smaller than nucleus. They are very, very small. Okay. So they are bombarded through that pipe, which called guide, and they are bombarded on any material. In this case, there is a chocolate. Okay. So again, this shows that you can use neutron to even study food, study materials, or develop new materials, and so on. And everything starts from your chemistry degree or physics degree or any science degree. Okay. So this is the way I'm showing you. Now we have a lot of those kind of instruments. So I run Kookaburra, which is ultra small angle neutron scattering instrument. And I also run Quokka, which is a small angle neutron scattering instrument. So what is the purpose of this instrument? We have 15 different type of instruments at only in Sydney in one facility. Okay. Each of this instrument roughly costs $10 million. So they are very, very specialized instrument. Reactor every single day on one instrument cost us 10,000 Australian dollars one day. So it's a very specialized technique. Okay. And many people around the world, including people from India, they visit this research organization and actually do a lot of work. there is a chance that in future you might end up, doing a research, and one day you might want to come and use this facility. So again, this is a part of your career guide. You can use this wonderful instrument. They are the state of the art instrument. Okay. Now, what these instruments actually can do? So these instruments are really good to understand very, very small structure. For example, nowadays a very popular virus. So virus is roughly, let's say 100 nanometer or up to 1 micron. If you want to study that virus, you can't use a normal microscope. You have to use very
देखा ही हो
specialized technique. And these instruments are one of those specialized techniques. So there is a lot of research going around the world to understand this system. Okay. So now what my job is here, the red font is my job. So I study 1 nanometer all the way to 20 micron structure. And again, I started from chemistry. So before I go to the another section of my journey, I just want to show you, this is the top view of our guide hall, various instrument. As I mentioned, each of this instrument costs $10 million. And every single day to run one instrument, it is $10,000 roughly. Here is me with one of my another colleague and friend, Elliot. So I'll move to next one. So I just want to show you how actually I got here. So what I did, that's what I want to show you. So as of today, I'm, as Sadaf mentioned, I'm a scientific supervisor and research manager. I have more than 15 years of experience in soft matter. Now look at these words. You might think I'm just a chemistry student, okay, or I'm just a science student. How do I go to this area? So this is one of the research area. There are so many research area. So my research area is a soft matter, which deals with colloids, emulsion, surfactant. Now surfactant is what you have in your hand soap or shampoo or something, okay. Then there are glycopolymer, food proteins. So if you want to understand how food systems are, you can actually study soft matter and go there. Okay, there are lots and lots of different science within the soft matter. So people working in industry, they use soft matter. People work in academia, they also have a specialization in soft matter. There is a hard matter as well. Okay, we do all kind of science. I'm an expert of small angle and ultra small angle X-ray and neutron scattering technique. They are the nano and micro scale characterization. So if you want to divide a human hair million times and want to study what happened at that length scale, then I'm your person, and you can actually train yourself in those technique as well. I'm as Sadaf mentioned, I'm an instrument scientist on Quokka and Kookaburra, two very brilliant and state-of-the-art instrument in ANSTO. And then I have lot of publication and research and awards in that field. Okay, so now career. How did I get where I am today? So what I did, I was in India. These are my different job which I did. So at one point I was a lecturer in engineering chemistry. Again, you can be a lecturer as well if that's interest you. I was a postdoctoral research fellow as well. I was research associate, postdoctoral research fellow. Some point I was a research scientist as well. So you can see I went through various fields. And this might help you as well, because each of this area, I met so many different people. I actually interacted with very world-renowned people, including many Nobel laureates. So I learned so many things from them, and I'm happy to pass that on to you. So in terms of my education, I did PhD at South Gujarat University, and also I did a lot of my work at Bhabha Atomic Research Center. And during this time, I received the Young Scientist Award. I also did Master in Science in Analytical Chemistry, because that was something I was always passionate about. And during this time, I was a first ranker in science faculty, and I received the gold medal from APJ Kalam. But I'm not trying to say that you have to be a brilliant to achieve this science. That's nothing like that. There is a key of success which I'm going to show you at the end, which you have to follow. Okay. I have done BS. Before that, I was doing a BSc. I also have a degree in computer and also in arts. Okay. And there are other success. For example, as of today, I work with very renowned scientists around the world, and some of our science are very famous. So for example, right now some of my samples are at International Space Station. NASA actually send those samples onto the International Space Station to actually do work on research on those systems. So the whole point is, I just want to show you that a humble beginning from India, you can actually reach to the pinnacle of your career. Okay. Um, Now, next thing is, there are a lot of success, but what are the failures? I don't call them failures. I call them learning. You don't worry if you fail some time. It's a very good learning exercise. So for example, uh, before graduation, my circumstances were very different. I didn't get any guidance. I wished somebody gave me this talk 20 years ago. Okay. So there was an issue with the finance, issue with the education guidance or something. I always wanted to become a doctor, which I couldn't do it that time. But after saying that there are lots and lots of failure in one's life, but don't get discouraged and actually pursue those. I also did master in computer application, but I never finished it. I was up to the last year and didn't submit my final project. So those are some of the failure I'm discussing with you. Okay. When I came to Australia, there were so many opportunity, but I missed them because of the cultural barrier. Now it's gone, but it took some time to overcome those barriers. I also did project management at certificate level. I wish I would have done master level, but these are just some of the failure which I encountered, or I would say learning. Also, there was some issue when moving from one job to another job and so on. I didn't receive some of the grants, and I was very, very disappointed that time. But it's always help when you actually apply and fail 99 times. There will be one time when you get success, and that's a very, very good thing. Okay. Always remember, you should surround yourself with the people who actually inspire you, or you should surround yourself with the books or lectures or anything which can inspire you. That is very important. So for example, when I was in a school, my math teachers was really supportive, and that is where I actually gained keen interest in maths. I have some wonderful friends when I was growing up, and they inspired me. I was at in When I was doing my masters, there was a professor. She actually put her so much trust in me that actually inspired me to do something great. When I was at Australian National University, which is the top university in India, in Australia for research, my supervisor, Professor John White, he's a very well-known scientist in the world. Working with him, it's actually inspired me. My other colleague, they were Rhodes Scholar from Oxford University. I work with people who are from Cambridge University, Oxford University, sometimes with Harvard University. And when you talk with these people, actually you realize they are simple people like you and I am. Okay, so that is quite inspirational. You learn from them, but you also realize that you have everything what you need to make a progress. So this is important. You surround yourself with the people who actually can inspire you. Okay. Another thing which really inspire me is today's big problem. If you want to make a lot of money, you have to find where is the biggest problem in the world. Okay. If you want to find a exceptional career, you have to find what are the some of the challenges of the world today. So for example, today it's very timely that we have this COVID virus, and health is such a big thing. Health professionals are doing really great job to keep all of us safe. There are so many people working behind the screen who actually do a lot of research or working in the laboratory. Lot of people from chemistry background actually work in hospital as a lab technician, as a researcher and so on. So this is something which inspire me. I work with people who actually do a lot of research in the health sector, and that's really great. For example, recently we published one paper which actually shows how nanoplastic is bad for the environment and may impact on humans. So that's you can only do with the nuclear techniques. So that is what inspired me. These are the main big problem of the world. You may find something in this area. Energy is another thing. We are using more and more and more energy. We need to find material which actually reduce energy consumption, which can actually promote more greener energy and so on. We have to look after our climate. So climate, many people from bachelor or masters or even after school work in the climate science. They want to understand how human actually impacting the climate science, or how climate changing, and how we can prevent this change, how we can actually support the climate and so on. And there is another thing like a preserving culture. For example, we do a lot of research with dinosaurs, egg or fossils, or some ancient artifact and so on. If we understand the history properly, then we can actually preserve our future. So these are some of the big problem. And Ansto is quite well working in all this area. But again, you also need to find something in this area to make a really good career. If you find the $100 billion problem, you can make $1 billion easily. So money, again, I'm going to talk about this thing, but money is never should be the motivation. The motivation should be what your passion, okay, what you are passionate about. So now coming back to the career option and possibility, what are the career options? So in today's world, there is very diffuse boundary between science. So in old time, people used to do chemistry or physics or biology or medical or engineering and so on, okay, in respective field. But if you see today, because what happened, we are not doing a very exceptional new research, groundbreaking research. What we are doing, we are taking what research is there and we are improving it. For example, can you imagine a simple light globe which let's say used to use 100 watt of electricity? Now we have brighter light source in the form of LED bulbs. They are much brighter than that 100 watt bulb, and only use 2 watt electricity. So they are very, this is the material science, okay? But in that material science, you have a chemistry, you have a physics, you have many other field. There is one field called biophysist. So there is a biology and physics into it. Nowadays, you just have to find what you are passionate in, and then you can make your own career. You can make your field. There are countless career option today in the market. So you just, if you go to any website today, just Google it, like a job, and you will see the job profiles are completely changed. They are not like what used to be. We need an analytical chemistry, analytical chemist. It's not like that. Today, jobs are quite mixed. You need a knowledge of computer, you need a knowledge of science, you need a knowledge of biology and so on. This is the future. Okay, this is how I have seen so many different jobs around me, and they are not like what traditional job used to be. And now with this COVID situation and the way our world we're going to change in future, jobs are quite different. If somebody would have told you last year that we're going to sit at home and work from home, you would have laughed at, right? So this is how we are changing. So there is a very diffuse boundary between science. So it's not necessary that, you can't do this or you can't do that. You just need to find your interest in that field. It's important. You should know what are you passionate about and interest about. Now don't tell me you are passionate about watching TV. Yes, everyone likes watching TV or watching movie, right? But when you are sitting at home and not doing anything, just reflect and just think about it. What I really want to do in my career, so you need to find what you are passionate about or what you are interested about. For example, from very early age, my early age, I was very passionate to become a scientist. That time I didn't know what kind of scientist I want to become. I always thought science is cool because I can always learn and so on. So that was my passion, my interest, and that I pursue. If you pursue any career without passion or interest, most likely you're going to fail. The other thing is, if you find yourself in some career, you can create passion and interest in that field by working very hard and learning more about that field. Okay. But generally at this stage, so for example, if you are a bachelor student or even if you are a class 12 student, you can find what you are passionate about. Like for example, some people are very passionate about saving world in terms of climate change and so on. So there is a career there. Some people are very good arguing, like they are very passionate about the law and so on. So there is a career there. I'm going to show you all those options. So you need to ask question to yourself, not me or not any career counselor, that what exactly I should do. You should ask question to yourself that what I am good at it, what I want to do. Maybe there is a possibility you don't know at this point what you are good at it. And the reason why you don't know you are good at it is you haven't tried number of different options. And I must thanks Anish and Sadaf to invite me for this lecture. And you should actually listen to many people like me from various different career, and just try to understand what they have done, whether anything that might inspire you from their story, or anything which you never knew before, and you might want to do something like that. Okay. The most important thing is you have to be very honest to yourself. I have seen so many times that people say, oh, I just want to make a lot of money, I want to bring myself out of poverty and so on. I understand money is a big thing, but trust me, money is a byproduct of your passion and success. It is never the important thing. If you are passionate about anything, you are going to be successful in that field, and money will flow automatically. It's fact, because if you do, if one my professor used to say, there is always room at the top. If you are good at it, you going to work for that thing, and you actually going to become so good in that field that people will pay you for your job. And it's not a job for you, because then you love that thing so much that you don't feel it's like a job. I trust me, I'm not bluffing, but I love my job so much that I really miss not going to work. I really miss what I do. So I want to. That's what you need to find. You need to find what you are passionate about. And trust me, it's never too late. If somebody listening me who are in their late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s or so on, trust me, it's never late. I have seen many people doing a medicine in their 50s, and they are, they will become doctor when they will be 55, 57 and so on. So it's never too late. And that is what I learned when I came to Australia. I seen in university there are many senior students and so on, because people realize, okay, I'm not probably happy in my job, and this is not the way to live life, and I want to find what I'm good at it. And to do that, I might have to re-educate myself. One thing which actually helped me a lot is doing a part-time job. So when I was in class 11, I did part-time job. I used to teach typing, and I never stopped teaching. I was a tutor in many different class and so on, and that's really helped me, because not only that actually taught me my own subject, but also I met with so many people. You meet with some student whose father, for example, working as a lawyer, you talk to them, or mother working as an engineer. You talk to them, and suddenly you realize, oh wow, I never thought that is even possible. I met people who are actually professional actor, but after their chemistry degree in BSc. So when you meet with different people, you realize actually those are the options. So it's never too late. And if you are not doing any part-time job, I would strongly suggest to do part-time job, do study, do part-time job, understand what you want to do, but never lose the focus from your mind. Remember what you want to achieve. And again, money is not what you want to achieve, trust me. Money is not. Money is just a byproduct of your passion and success. So be successful, and money will automatically flow there. I'm not just saying this for the sake of saying, this is the fact. If you read lot of entrepreneurs biography or many successful people, they're going to say this. Okay. I work with so many professors who actually don't even care about how much money they have, because they find their passion into what they are doing. They are very happy doing what they do. Now, coming back to the jobs, okay? So if you say, for example, if you're doing a bachelor, you can go and work in different industries. And you are very fortunate if you are from India, you are very fortunate that there are a lot of industries. Some are the government industry. So people say, okay, what are the government industry? For example, power plant is a government industry. Defense technology. There are company who develop like a fighter jet or develop ammunition. When you develop ammunition, you need a lot of interest in the chemistry. If you want to develop a material for a fighter jet, for example, you need a lot of information about the chemistry. So any education you are doing right now, it's not going to go west. Trust me. So if you want to go and work with industries, the working style is very different. You can actually go and do it. You can go and work in a public sector. There are a lot of public sectors industry where it's a government shares there, and you can work in that industry. Now when I say work, if you go online, you will find lots and lots of different kind of job profile. I'm not going to go through those job profile, but what I'm trying to say, for example, let's say you after bachelor, you want to do environmental monitoring. I did, after finishing my bachelor, actually I went and did a small project during my master. Sorry, I did a small project in environmental monitoring. So measuring how much oxygen there is in the water, how much actually carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide there is in the air, and so on. So those kind of jobs do exist. So you have to find whether you like those job or not. There are so many small and big companies, and there are so many private companies which have different jobs. You have an option. You can do bachelor and just go and work with those company, or you can go and pursue the further study like a master's or PhD or honors, and then work with the industry. It's all depend what exactly you want to do. There is also academia and the research. There is like a universities. University is a biggest employer in many countries. Like for example, Australia, it's fact, a lot of university employs people from let's say professor, lecturer, or the people who look after lab, or people who actually teach the practical classes and so on. There are a lot of institute, for example, government institute like ANSTO, which actually which actually runs a research. So we, not every one out of 1200 staff we have are actually scientists. Very few are only scientists. There are a lot of people who actually work in a lab as a lab manager. There are so many people who actually do work in a workshop, to produce some material, to produce something which we we can use. There is a whole material research department. There are numerous people working there. Okay, there's a government as well. So for example, policy writing, somebody has to write this policy, somebody has to work in government and come up with the policy. Which, let's say somebody say, okay, I'm going to establish a chemical plant in India, government does not know what is chemical plant gonna be and so on. So they need people from the science background to assess that application. Okay, so let's say some company invented a new vaccine for coronavirus, and they want to submit that application to government and say, this is what we're going to sell. Okay, then government need people like from a science background to understand that pattern and give the pattern to the company or other thing. So there are a lot of jobs in private and government as well. Now, if you interested in research, so research is just a small part. Okay, if you are interested in research, you can do what I did my PhD in India, and then I went abroad, or you can work in India as well. But there is another way. People do also do BSc Honours, which is not very popular in India, but in many foreign country there is a BSc Honour. So after BSc, you can actually apply to go for 1.5 year course or 1 year course, which is called BSc Honors. If you are very passionate that I want to go to, let's say, Australia and do research there, I came here in 2006. It's a long time ago, 14 years ago. That time Australia was top, even better than US in terms of research. Many groundbreaking research actually came from Australia. I got two jobs that time. One is in Australia and one is in France. And I decided not to go to France and come to Australia. And I think the best decision of my life. So you can do the same thing. You can, instead of coming after PhD, you can come here and do the BSc Honors. Let's say you are going to Japan. In Japan, people do not like PhD that much. Okay, they prefer masters. So you can actually go and study masters there and work there in industry, governments, or different area. You can pursue different career in India and overseas. Again, many people think going overseas will make you a lot of money and so on. There is a truth in this, but again, if you are not good, you probably not going to survive anywhere. You have to find a passion, or you have to find an interest what you do, and then you can go to any place. Then sky is the limit. Many people like to teach. I was very, very passionate in teaching because I was doing teaching from when I was in class 11, right? So you can go and teach in school. After BSc, you can become a teacher, where you can do B.Ed and become a teacher. And we really need a good teacher. That's a fact. We teachers are the building block of the society. So you can go and teach into school. You can go and teach into universities, so you can become like a lecturer, professors, and so on. You can go and teach in private sector. For example, many industries want teaching to their staffs and so on. You can do tutoring and so on. So there is an option. They are very light option, to be very honest. One most important thing, trust me, is a computing. You can't say that I have no interest in computer. You have to develop the interest in computer. Say, for example, if you really, really enjoy computing and you also enjoy chemistry, then you can actually work in something called computational chemistry, or there are so many areas where actually you can combine computer knowledge and chemistry. For example, in my company, and we write a lot of program to run these machines. So you need a knowledge of physics, you need a knowledge of maths, you need a knowledge of computer. Same way, there are a lot of lab-based softwares and so on. So if you are very good with the computing, then you're going to have a very good career. Remember, the job which you see today, for example, analytical chemist in some lab, right? Those job will gonna go. They will not be there in 10 years or 5 years, because we are developing artificial intelligence. We are developing machine learning. A lot of robots are doing the job. I don't have to go to work to actually load my samples into instrument nowadays. I can just press button on my computer and it's done. Okay, so this is going to be the future. I have seen many international industries countries who actually invest heavily in artificial intelligence. So if you have interest in one of that field, remember you need to do, and also you have to be mindful what will be the good career in future and what not. If you want to go into medical, either you want to become a doctor or you want to become a, like a, let's say, a research in medical, you can do. No one told me when I was in bachelor that actually I can, after bachelor, I can go and do MBBS. In Australia, you can't get into the medical college after 12. That's not possible. You have to do any bachelor degree, and then only university will take you, because Australian medical science is top. So many countries gonna follow that thing. You need a bachelor degree from another science field or any other field, and then only you'll be allowed to go into medical. So if you didn't get a marks, I didn't get a marks and I couldn't go to medical, don't be discouraged. You can actually go and do medical science now, but you need to have a passion in that thing. You need to have an interest. Okay. Many people I have seen go and do the management, like MBA or PGDB diploma after BSc or something. That's good. I'm not saying that's bad, but I always believe that management gonna help you if you work in a management sector. For example, if I have to look after my staff, I need a management experience, right? But to reach here, I need to have interest in what I'm doing, right? Same way in many company, for example, in chemistry, in chemical plant, you need to be working in that area, and then you can do like a part-time management degree or so on. So you can do that. I have seen many people after BSc, BCom or BA, they have done management and work in bank and so on. That's also a good option if you don't mind. But I would prefer to work in that field for some time and then do management. Okay. There is a career in law and intellectual property. So for example, there are lots of famous cases out there. So if I develop one pharmacy in medicine, the other company will say, oh, you stole my idea. Now they go into the court. Somebody with chemistry knowledge have to be a lawyer and say, look, I to save that intellectual property, So that's also a very, very good career. My student actually become the lawyer in chemical plants and so on, and they are looking after intellectual properties. Okay. Many of my friends also are entrepreneurs. So they have started small business after degree in chemistry. One of my close friend, he finished PhD and then he started his own business. So he sells he makes this beauty shake formula and sells it, So there is a career there. If you are passionate about business, then you can use your interest and become an entrepreneur. Okay. There are science educator jobs. For example, ANSTO, at ANSTO, we have a lot of school children coming, and many university student comes, and there is a dedicated science educator who actually teach people like what we are doing. There are so many science educator jobs. If you love education, if you love science, you can become a science educator. You can become a firework chemist. This is going to go even bigger and bigger. You can become, if you like to pick the fault, you can become a risk and safety analysis. For example, if I'm running a small chemical company, I have a responsibility for my staffs. They have to be the safe, and if I don't understand, like sodium hydroxide is a corrosive, how am I going to protect my staff? So if you know those kind of things, you can actually become risks and safety person as well. You can go and work in a forensic. So you can become a forensic scientist and so on, or work in a forensic lab where you will solve the crime, right? People think, oh, I can't go back to commerce or economy or finance. That's not true. Science is very fluid this day. So you can actually go and work in a finance, economy, and commerce. One of my friend who did PhD, and he did a small course in finance, and now he's actually working with a very big finance company, so that is possible. You can become a writer. So like, for example, if you see any journals or if you see any magazine, they need a person with a chemistry knowledge or science knowledge to write it. You can develop a art. Like if you go online and if you search anything, you will see this beautiful virus picture, animation, and so on. So you need knowledge of science, but you can also become an artist. There are a lot of people who have a chemistry degree or science degree went and become a politician because that helps them. For example, German chancellor, she has a PhD, her husband has a PhD. People who are activists have a science from science background. You can go and become a sales representative. So for example, I buy a lot of instruments from various big companies, and I meet so many people who come and sell me those instruments, right? And those people have a science degree, and it's so much fun talking to them. And if you really like media, if you really think you are very good at acting, you can actually go and become a celebrity. Have you ever heard Brian Cox, or have you ever seen Neil deGrasse, or Michio Kaku? You can become that. And trust me, you just need to find passion and interest in that field. Okay. So what I want to do, I want to give you a take-home message. I'm going to finish my talk very soon. So what is the take-home message? Trust me, these are from bottom of my heart. Never stop, keep learning, update your skill and knowledge. I am still doing that. As I said, I'm not a counselor. I'm just like you, just a few years ahead in the journey. So one thing, remember, keep learning, keep trying to find what you want to do, and so on. Update your skill. If you, for example, one of my friend is now doing a law degree. When he said, I'm just sitting at home, what I'm going to do? Let me do law degree. From chemistry background, going to do the law degree. You can do the same thing, just in skill. You are so lucky you born in the age of internet. Everything is available for you. Also, don't be afraid to try different things. For example, if you at this age, when you are really young, you can actually go and work part-time, like an internship. Every company these days has some kind of internship. You go and talk to people in Reliance, go and talk to small industries and say, can I come and work for you? I want to do some kind of internship. That will really tell you whether what you want to do and what you don't want to do. Okay. So don't afraid of trying different things. Remember, read, talk, listen, and get inspired. So talk to people, people who are successful, or whom you think they are successful. They're not going to come and bite you. You can always write them. Okay. If you see some professor in, let's say in US, if you send that professor email and say, look, I'm really impressed by your profile. Can you give me some career advice? They give you advice. Trust me. I asked so many people and I always got a very positive response. Also, there is so much material and books available. Read those things. Talk to people like, who inspires you. Listen. When people say something, listen and try to understand what they're trying to say. There is a message hidden in there, what they are trying to tell you. So listen them very carefully. Inspired. Like, when I was growing up, a lot of Hollywood movie inspired me. That's good thing. Sometimes it's a Hollywood movie is not reality, but that's just when you go into the science field, you will learn how amazing science field is. Now is the time. So for example, when you are sitting home, just sit quietly and reflect and ask question to yourself what you want to do. That's a very, very important question. And as I said, be honest to yourself. You don't have to prove to your mom or your family or to a society or anyone. If you like something and if you are really passionate about it, go and get it. Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are always going to be right. So in my journey, there are millions of people who say, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. And I really appreciate those people because those inspired me. Those actually helped me to push and say, okay, I'll show you how I can do that. And same way, you have to be there. You can do anything what you want. Okay. There is one key of success, and you need just this key to be a successful person, which is the hard work. There is no other way, trust me. You have to work so hard that everything becomes easy. For example, if you want to learn a piano is so hard, and you sit there and you press few buttons, you say, "Oh, I'm not never going to learn this." But if you work hard, and it will become easier and easier. So that is the thing. You have to work very, very, very hard. So that's my talk. I'm finishing on dot, and I'm very happy to take questions. I don't know how it's gonna work, but you can always send your question in the chat window. So it will help me. I might be able to answer later, or you can always send me email, and happy to answer there.
You can turn on your mics and you can ask question one by one to Dr. Mata, or you can also write down your question in chat option.
Hello. Thank you, sir. This is a nice talk. And first, I will thank to organizing committee about this event. Now, I want to ask about because of this virus, this worldwide problem. So, few boundaries about this career opportunities after the PhD, they might be closes. You want to say something about that, sir?
You mean like more possibilities out there, or less number of possibilities out there?
Because of this virus, more of the countries are closing their boundaries from outside people. So they
Yeah.
maybe reduce the possibilities for to
No,
career in this field. No.
no, good question. Like, I don't think so. It will impact that badly, because what's gonna happen in shorter term, definitely. For example, a lot of my researchers, they come from the overseas. One of my student who just finished the PhD, he actually waiting for his job in US, but I don't think so. He gonna get visa, and he gonna go and work there in short time. But don't get discouraged. That is the time when actually you can do lot of catch up. Because I remember when I finished my PhD, there were so many publication I wanted to write. If I have this kind of opportunity, I can write lot of publication. Don't lose contact with people. Offer your assistance. Or if, say for example, if you are doing a PhD, you can write a professor and say, look, I can't come and work there, but I'm happy to work on a research project from overseas and work very hard on that project. You can do a lot of literature search. You can publish some papers. So for example, we are publishing several papers now, because now we have a time to work on those things. So yes, career opportunity in terms of overseas opportunity might go down a little bit, but it will come up very steeply, because now people have realized what is the science, what is the importance of the science. Everyone knows that, if you are a movie star, that's no important. If you are a scientist, you might save the world. So that is, it will pick up, trust me. You can ask me question. Don't worry, I'm not going to bite you.
There is one question from Dr. Sabir Khan Pathan, and he has
Mhm.
asked, what is opportunity for organic chemistry in Australia?
Oh, lot of opportunity. For example, we have a universities where you can go and work in a lab. You can go and do like a PhD, or you can actually um, go and do work as a postdoc, or do a lot of research in Australia. As I said, the first thing which attracted me to the Australia is the research. Australian research is a very top level. So if you have an interest doing a research, you can go and do research in organic. In Ansto, we produce a lot of deuteration molecules from the which require a lot of organic knowledge. So you can look for those kind of jobs. There are a lot of jobs available. And as I said, may try to broaden your range. So organic, you have a organic chemistry knowledge. How about having little bit knowledge in management, or having little bit knowledge in, let's say, computing? When you combine this one, you can actually make yourself so much appealing to other people. You need a lot of different knowledge. People these days, they really like to see that you are involved in very multiple field.
Uh, Another question from Sayyid Yunus, and he has asked, yeah, where's this question? Okay, there is one more question uh, by Sakshi Goyal. She is recently pursuing graduation in BSc with chemistry and planning masters in forensic science and analytical chemistry. Is it useful, or what many options can I have later?
Yeah, it is useful. So what you do, you when you finish your forensic degree, for what is forensic degree? Forensic degree is nothing but just to understand what is the chemistry in, let's say, let's say if somebody dropped couple of, there is a blood somewhere, you want to make sure this is animal blood or human blood, or is there any crime happened there. So for example, there is a knowledge of biology in and chemistry. So if you do bachelor and then go and do masters in forensic, you will make yourself very attractive for the job who actually look in forensic science, or even any lab. They will look for the person who have some knowledge of biology and the chemistry. Like if you apply with me, I would say, oh wow, I really need someone who actually have a knowledge in biology and chemistry. So it will make you more employable. So fine, yeah, it's good. And there is a future. It's not, forensic is one of the field which not gonna going to die. And there is a good artificial intelligence research going on in that area, but it's still way long time before we replace humans with robots.
A very interesting question is raised by Vasanta Pandian M, and the participant has asked, "How could I join PhD with fellowship in Australia?"
Okay. So let me tell you, how do I give you so PhD, when you want to come and do PhD in Australia and you want to have a fellowship, right? So in Australia, if you want to do PhD, there are two type of fellowship. One fellowship which going to pay your fees, which mostly everyone gets it. Second fellowship is your living expense. So if you are renting an apartment or something, you need a money. So most people, including a lot of Australian, only get one fellowship which pays fees. The second fellowship, they actually work part time and do PhD, also work part time. Some many times this part time job may be like a teaching undergraduate students or something, doing a practical session. So which is good. But if you publish paper while you are doing a bachelor or masters, if you really create interest in science, then your CV will look really good. So there are a couple of positions in every university where they not only pay your fees, they will pay your actually living expenses. And you can apply for that kind of fellowship. So there is a possibility. You just have to make your CV really, really impressive by publishing paper, by doing a lot of NGO kind of work. More you work, remember, more you work, luckier you become. So if you see my CV, I never needed to do computing, but I was doing computing. I never needed to do bachelor in arts, like Hindi, but I was doing that. So
Turn off the mic.
and many other things. You just do multiple things, concentrate on each field, and achieve as much as you can.
Sir, I have a small doubt.
Mhm.
Uh, I want to know what are the opportunities after doing PhD in computational chemistry.
Yeah, a lot. This is the field which going to get really popular. So I'll just tell you, one of my student who did computational chemistry and now doing a PhD in Monash University, very famous university in Australia. Okay, so what my student doing? He's actually writing a computer code and trying to understand how the clusters form in water, how the cluster forms in methanol, and so on. So instead of going and doing experiment in lab, he's doing experiment on his computer. So that is possible. That is a very good field. You need to have a knowledge in computing. You need to learn language and so on, and this is the field which always going to get more and more interest from the people and employer, because now we're going to work more and more at home. So computation chemistry could be a very good field as well.
There is a question from our very sincere student in second year BSc, and he is asking, sir, how can I start my beginning research on chemistry topics? Please guide me.
Sure. So as I said, first you have to identify what is the problem. What is the problem most motivate you? So for example, in my case, I was a very interested. But the day I went to Bhabha Atomic Research Center, and that day actually I decided I want to work in the nuclear science. So same for you. You need to find what is the problem you want to answer. You like health sector, or you like energy sector, or what you like. There are different sectors, and then you go online, read about those things, and then you will find that there is some area which actually you're going to find a lot of interest in. Also talk to people. For example, feel free to write me. I have so many research problem, I can help you, and you can actually work on them and see if that interests you. Okay, so feel free to write me, no problem.
Okay, any more questions?
There is,
Students?
I think, another question where Ravi is asking that you want to work in nuclear power plant and so on. India has a lot of nuclear power plant, and if you are from chemical engineering background, yes, you can actually go and work in those power plant. Many times when you go and say, okay, jobs in nuclear power plant, you will see the basic requirements they need is a chemical engineer or BSc in chemistry and so on. I would suggest one thing. If you really can, you develop some skill in computer. Lot of things are happening on computer modeling and so on. So you can actually gain more qualification in this area. So my email address actually on my presentation, it's or just Google me. You will find my email address. Just Google Jitendra Mata and you will find a lot of information about it. Okay.
Yeah. Any more questions?
But
I
feel free
think,
to write me if you don't come up with any question right now. Feel free to write me. Okay.
okay. Thanks, Dr. Mata, for such an informative and motivational talk. I believe students from not only chemistry but all the fields are truly inspired. Now I request Dr. Anish Kumar Sharma, Principal, School of Sciences, to say vote of thanks.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Hello, everyone. Myself, Dr. Anish, and on the behalf of PPSU University, I express my sincere thanks to our expert speaker, Dr. Jitendra Mata, sir, for conduction of such an informative webinar for the participants, which includes our chemistry and life science students. I thank you, sir, for sharing your knowledge as well as experience with the participants. And I invite you, sir, to visit our university whenever you visit India. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, and guys, call me Jitendra. That's fine. And
Yeah,
also, yeah, one day when I will come to India, I'll definitely come and visit the university. But let's keep in touch. Okay.
yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're
Sure.
most welcome.
No worries. Bye for now.
Okay,
Bye.
sir. Take care.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Thank you.
I request all the participants to kindly submit their feedback form for their attendance. Only those who will submit their feedback form will get attendance as well as e-certificates for this webinar. You can get the feedback form link on the chat option.